Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
Rex,
Daniel.
level 3 whiskey sommelier.
Mooch. Is he? Are you Mooch
will
yet?
destroy you. It's like you're
It's a habit.
incapable of remembering. Do you not know who I am?
Who cares about your Mooch status more than you?
All right, I'm gonna make a storyline that will sear into the back of your brain, from which you will never recover.
I'll end up a vegetable with like a beep, beep, like a drip feed. All right. Okay, welcome to Early Times Bourbon.
Okay, it sounds inexpensive.
Yeah.
Although
it is
kind of light and refreshing on the nose.
Yeah, now somebody gave this to us, but I don't know who because they didn't write their name on the bottle. So if it's you, then let us know.
The unknown magnificent bastard.
Okay, so first let's just drink some whiskey.
And then you get like this kind of weird. So on the nose, immediately light and refreshing, and then you get like this little bit of young leather, a little bit.
Yeah, it is very bright and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is that slight musty green note that you call leather and I call green.
I say young leather, and it's light. Some whiskeys it's just overwhelming. It's
really
like
floral
it's really
almost.
really off-putting on some whiskeys. This it's not overwhelming. It's there, but
This really is almost floral.
oh, so thin. Wow.
40%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's water ending in brown sugar.
Yeah. Maximum thin.
That's a bummer.
Maximum. The nose is really light and refreshing, and they had a couple of interesting things going on, complementing each other. But this is it's watery on the front end, and then eventually you get into some bourbon flavors, and then it ends with a little bit of a barrel ding, for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this interesting story on this one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So Jack Beam was Jim Beam's uncle.
Jack Beam.
Jack Beam. Uncle Jack was the best man at Jim's wedding. Jack started his out of their dad's distillery in Nelson County. At 21, he broke away and started his own distillery called Early Times.
Sure.
Now, Early Times stayed in the family until 1915-ish, right?
Okay.
So then it goes outside. It eventually gets wrapped into Brown Forman. Brown Forman gets to make it during Prohibition for medicinal purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it becomes one of the best-selling whiskeys in America.
Yeah.
Right? Back in that time, it was Kentucky whiskey.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
Right? But it was Kentucky bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that it doesn't say bourbon anywhere on this.
Yeah.
Do you know why? They also blend in used oak.
Oh, interesting.
So they are taking...
because maybe that
and
is contributing to the lightness of not having that tanniny wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to taste what a budget bourbon blended with some used oak bourbon mash bill tastes like, which we've totally thought about doing, this is it.
So this is it at 40%.
At 40%.
So this is saying aged in oak, as whiskeys are.
Mm-hmm.
For a taste worth the wait, do we know? Is there any kind of age on this?
No, we don't.
So we don't know what the weight is. I mean, it's gonna.
it's going to be at least 4 because that allows you no age statement.
No age statement. Okay.
Right. Unless, actually, that's not true necessarily. Because if you're blending it, you might not be able to put an age statement on it.
Okay. Well,
so who knows?
Who knows? So, as you were talking, to me, this struck me as a whiskey that could be given to people that typically aren't reaching for whiskeys just in their day-to-day.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it's too much, it's too aggressive, it's too intense. This is so light.
It's as friendly.
But there's enough whiskey flavor there. You have to get halfway through this watery open until you get to these whiskey notes. But they're there, and they're nice if you are open to just something that's pretty effortless if you're a serious whiskey drinker. And if you're not a serious whiskey drinker, you just want to have something in your hand that looks brown so you can look like you're drinking whiskey.
But I can imagine that like TX blended where it's like vanilla candy.
Right.
This is not candy. It's got this kind of sour bite to the back end of it.
Look, here's the thing. As thin and watery as this is, it's hard for me to well up any kind of rage because I know there is a place in the market for whiskeys like this.
Absolutely.
And it's not necessarily for me unless I'm over whiskey, but I still want to keep pace with my bros.
I would pour this on the rocks.
With my ladies, with my MBs.
With my ladies. I would pour this on the rocks and drink it on a really hot day.
It would be invisible.
Yeah.
Invisible.
Yeah.
So
on a really hot day.
It's a really hot day.
It would be nice, cold, and refreshing.
If you're in a really hot day,
Yeah.
I want to cool off and get drunk.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. While we were trying our early times, sorry.
Zyrtec.
I'm not sick.
It means you're diseased.
Okay, so while we were rumming through our early times, a friend of ours named
disease.
Adam LaValle.
Adam LaValle. Am I supposed to yell?
He showed up and he said, "Hey guys, why don't you try this? It's from my home state."
Journeyman Distillery. Adam LaValle. You magnificent bastard.
Adam LaValle has been very patient. I just emailed him this morning to let him know we were shooting this video.
Yeah.
And I looked at the email chain and it was like a year old. So this is from Michigan.
Sure.
They are making their own whiskey.
Yeah.
This is a 4-grain whiskey,
Okay.
right? And man, without a knife, that little thing you were supposed to use to peel this thing, it's gone.
I got a
Oh, I got it.
key to my
Just by twisting and I cracked the, and I got wax all over my wedding ring.
key to my scoot.
Okay, this is a single distillation
This is
with
different.
a mash bill of 25% of each grain.
25%.
Rye, corn, wheat, barley.
Right on. Just 25% straight
Just
up.
straight up in fourths,
So
according to them.
mathematically, this is as classic of a whiskey as you can get.
Okay, so 5-gallon white oak barrels, the same size as the Balcones barrels we
yeah,
had
the
down
little
there, right? Between 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Bottled at 45% alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about
No,
this one.
you should be.
Right?
On the nose.
Now, this is from Three Oaks, Michigan. Ooh, there's some like candied molasses in there.
So if the early times was like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something really a veil, right?
Yeah.
If this was a veil, this is a quilt.
Yeah, this is heavy.
Yeah,
Thick, dense.
thick and-
dude, for only less than a year old in 5-gallon barrels, look at that. It's
Yeah.
just, it's thick and oily and viscous.
Oh man. Oh my dude, I just now noticed you're right. The legs of
Right?
This is almost greasy.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh my
I just
gosh.
spilled some on my hand. Okay, so these guys are in Three Oaks, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Let me look at that again. Is it Three Oaks? Yeah, I don't want to get that wrong. Yeah, Three Oaks, Michigan, which is just outside of South Bend. It's on Lake Michigan across from Chicago.
It smells exciting.
Oh, dude.
It smells exciting.
If you do the whole hand oil thing on this one, it turns into full-on bread yeast.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm getting
Like a sourdough starter.
It's exciting because it's a fourth. Mm-hmm. And I can pick out, there's the rye.
You know what's funny
there's
is
the corn.
I get the rye.
And the wheat is often, you said wheat?
Yeah, it's often invisible.
It's often, really soft and sweet and rounded. And that's going to be the thing that I'm finding the least of, but it's there. It's there.
I'm not know that I'm picking up the wheat. I think that's
man.
the first thing that jumps out of the glass is the rye.
Yeah.
Followed by that round malty barley note.
Yeah, the barley's there.
And then the remaining to me is that dusty corn note.
And then I'm saying though,
Exactly.
you're not wrong. It does go in that order, but I think at 25%, and maybe I'm picking up a combination of corn and barley, and it's presenting as like a rounded off sweetness that I think is the wheat.
But it's in the taste. Oh, the wheat's in the taste. It's all of those dramatic nose notes just wrapped in velvet.
That's phenomenal.
It really is.
Great.
It's all the dramatic influences of each grain wrapped in a velvet glove, and that's like.
Now, this, I promise you, this has to have been a copper pot still.
Yeah, no, it's got to be.
There's no way they could have done a column still and gotten this much
I don't know,
oil.
man. Maybe they lessened the plates in the column still, or I don't know. But this is rich and dense. This is like fudge territory.
Yeah, and it's a finish. I'm going to be tasting the finish 5 minutes from now. Mm-hmm. Like what you can see on the edge of the glass. I'm not sure how well you can pick it up, but just the oil cling, the legs that come down. This is probably one of the greasiest whiskeys I've ever seen in my life, and it has the flavor to match everything that you're getting on the sight here, on the glass, on the nose there. It shows up in spades on the taste. This is a wonderful whiskey.
The aftertaste is that small barrel bitter. So it's only in the aftertaste that it starts to taste a little young.
Here's the thing, though.
But only in the aftertaste.
Here's the other flavors, though. I think I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But the other flavors, This is the definition of a rich whiskey. And
Totally
those
agree.
flavors are so rich, but by the time you get to the finish of a young barrel, you're going to have a little bit more of that impact from the oak, that little bit of the tanniny ding there. But those flavors are so rich. I'm so overwhelmed by this richness that when it does show up...
It's almost a relief.
When it does show up, it's kind of like, oh, there's a little barrel ding. But everything else is still clinging so impressively.
This is
phenomenal.
This is well done.
I love it.
Good job, Michigan.
Here's the amazing comparison. You probably did this by accident because you had no idea what this tasted like.
No, I have no idea.
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oh, yeah, completely opposite.
This is water for the first half, and then you start to get some like this veil, like thin tissue paper.
A hint of
whiskey for
things.
People that it's just whiskey's too overwhelming, but they still want to look like they're drinking a whiskey. And it's not bad. It's enjoyable whenever you need something that is very background, very invisible. This will take you on a magical, weird journey with just rich, intense, vibrant flavors. And the fourth, it looks like it was imagined on the spreadsheet, but it ended up beautifully in the bottle.
By the way, the last little tag is the reason it's called Silver Cross is it was a medal for golf in the early days of the British Open.
Yeah.
And they're avid golfers, evidently, and a percentage of the proceeds of every sale of this bottle go to a charity around a golf charity.
Right on.
So, anyway, I think...
Love it.
If you love this is going to bore you. If you love this is going to be too much for you.
Yes, absolutely. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.